Hello everybody, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another video. Enjoying all the videos and content we produce, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, and don't be afraid to share. Don't forget to click on the notification button, customize it however you want, but that way you're notified whenever we publish another video. Hello everybody, welcome to another World of Warcraft video. We are taking another look at the Fury Warriors, so we have a new and improved build. This build that I'm going to be going over today sims at 10% higher than the previous one that we used. So previously we were using the Thunderous Roar and the Odin's Fury bleed build. So this one is now a cleave and a spear build. So a little bit different. The strengths of this one is that it does have slightly more damage. It is a little bit more geared towards our 5-pack pulls that we are getting in a lot of these dungeons. Whereas the Thunderous Roar, its more benefit is towards larger packs and more on the move. Spear works only when we can really contain things into, the spear, so we can DPS within it. Thunderous Roar really works well on dungeons if they're on speed runs where everything is always on the move. Therefore, you get the full damage of it, whereas spear you throw it down and you're, leaving it behind. But anyways, let's get into the build and take a look at the talents. All right, let's take a look at the talent tree. So I will throw up a video just so you don't have to listen to me ramble. This is the build in action. It was a 12 offensive. We did not bring a lust, but fun fact, it was the Annihilator Fury build versus this Spear build. So you can see how we did head to head. Just throw this out there. I think, crush them. We were even equal item level or fairly close. So I thought it would be a fair test. Maybe he had a bad run, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, it's just there. You can see the comparison between the two of us if you would like, as well as just see the build in action. All right. So looking at the warrior tree. So it starts off pretty standard. So we're going Berserker's Rage and defensive stance. We are taking Impending Victory. I've been noticing that healers are having to heal a lot this expansion so far. So we are going to be taking that. 1 for survivability, 2 to help them out. There is an option where we could drop that as well as we do pick up Bitter Immunity down below. And some people use the Overwhelming Rage. I prefer having survivability. DPS while dead is 0, so living, much better. We also go into, we have War Machine and Rallying Cry, good group defensive there, just helps out for the group there. Then we have Fast Footwork for move speed, Spell Reflection for damage reduction, as well as there are some fun things that we can reflect. Leeching Strikes to give us a little bit more leech. Then we go into Frothing Berserker, so Rampage has 20% chance to refund some rage. And then we go into Heroic Leap for movement. And we have Furious Blow, so our auto attack speed is increased. So that'll help with our rage regeneration. We then have Pain and Gain, so when we take any damage, we heal. I do go into Stormbolt. I was contemplating maybe picking up Intimidating Shout because there are a few instances where having an AoE interrupt would be nice, and then you don't have to worry about the fear. Everybody's damaging them. It will pretty much break instantly. If I was to pick this up, I'd probably maybe drop Bitter Immunity just because you can use Impending Victory a lot more often. We also go into Sidearm, so our auto attacks have a 20% chance to hurl weapons at targets, doing some AoE damage. Then I'm just going to go down the left side here now rather than across. So then we have Reinforced Plates for extra armor. Then our armor gives us strength. Then we go into Avatar. And then, of course, Titan's Torment, which casting Avatar casts Odin's Fury at a lesser effectiveness. And then when we cast Odin Fury, casts Avatar at a lesser effectiveness. And then we also go into here. So we got reduces the cooldown of Heroic Leap, gives us a little bit of move speed. Cooldown of Raging Blow and Pummel is reduced. So there's Bitter Immunity, so restores 20% health and instantly removes all diseases, poison, and curses. We have Double Time, so 2 charges. Excuse me. And then Wild Strikes are Haste is increased by 2%, and our auto attack critical strikes increase your auto attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds. We have increased our damage while dual wielding. And then over here we have seismic reverberation. So if Whirlwind hits 3 or more enemies, it hits them 1 additional time for 30%. And we have cruel strike, so critical strike chance has 2% increased by 2%, and critical strike damage will execute increased by 10. And then of course Spear Bastion. So we throw it on a spear at a target location, dealing damage and instantly and an additional damage over 6 seconds. And deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets, but enemies hit are chained to the spear location for the duration, assuming they're allowed to be crowd controlled. If they're immune to crowd control, they don't care. And then we have Elysian Might. So while we stand in our spear, critical strike damage is increased by 25%. So that's why as soon as we throw it on our spear, stand in it. If you throw it on your spear and stand outside it, then it's kind of a moot point. You get the nice damage from spear, but we're not getting the big critical strike damage. All right. Moving over to the Fury tree. Okay, so of course Bloodthirst, then we have Raging Blow. We go into Improved Enraged, so Enraged increases our haste, increases our move speed. Enraged Regenerations for survivability. Improved Execute, so it no longer costs Rage and now generates 20. Then we go into War Paint, so we take reduced damage while we are enraged. We have Sudden Death, so our attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Execute and make it usable on any target. And then Improved Raging Blow, so now it has 2 charges and can instantly reset its own cooldown. And then I'm just going to go down the middle here. So Rampage, so of course our big damage. Attack something for 4 brutal strikes for damage. And then because we're in the Crushing Bro, that's going to stack the damage. Each hit gives it like 20% more damage, which is why we're trying to get 2 to 3 hits between Rampages. I know we're going to be over Rage Cap, but the damage is worth it. So we have Frenzy. Rampage increases our haste, stacking up to 4 times. And it reset if we Rampage a different primary target. Hack and Slash. Each Rampage has a 25% chance to refund a charge of Raging Blow, which is why we can spam it. We don't have to, we rarely have to cast Bloodthirst anymore as a result. Then Slaughtering Strikes. Raging Blow causes every strike of your next Rampage to deal an additional 20%, stacking up to 5 times. So that is what I'm talking about with the Raging Blow and Crushing Blow spam. So then, of course, we go into Recklessness. So we go Berserk, increasing our Rage and granting our abilities, 20% increased crit. We have Swift Strikes. We get Haste. Raging Blow generates 2 Rage. And, well, we don't have to worry about Annihilator because we're not into it. Then we go into Odyn's Fury. So this is a powerful bleed that gets applied to everything within 12 yards. And then, of course, Titanic Rage. It enrages you, and we deal 10% increased damage and grants us 4 stacks of Whirlwind. So when this is not part of the opener, I try to use up all Whirlwind stacks before casting the Odyn's Fury if it's available, just because it saves me that GCD. And then we go into Reckless Abandon, so where it generates 50 Rage. So as soon as we pop it on our open, we're going to be able to Rampage right away. And then greatly increases our next 2 Bloodthirst or Raging Blows, which makes them Crushing Blows. And then we go into Unbridled Ferocity. So Rampage has a 20% chance to grant us 4 seconds of Recklessness. And then going down the right side, so we have Cruelty. While Enraged, Raging Blow deals 15% more damage. Don't have to worry about the Annihilator. We go into Ashen Juggernaut, so increase the critical strike chance of Execute by 10%. And the stacks up to 5 times. We have Improved Whirlwind, so it affects our 4 single target attacks instead of 2. Wrath and Fury, so Raging Blow deals more damage while enraged, and it has a 30% chance to reset its own cooldown, helping us spam it. Improved Execute is now usable on targets below 35%, and its cooldown is reduced. Meat Cleaver, Whirlwind deals 25% more damage. And then the effects are for single target spells. Raging Armaments, we got an extra charge. Basically, it is always up. We have to be very spam heavy and unfortunate with procs in order to ever not be able to cast a Raging Blow. And then we fill the time, of course, with Bloodthirst and Whirlwind. Then we go into Critical Thinking here. So we get critical strike chances increased by 2% and Raging Blow And Annihilator, damaging critical strike chance, deal 10% more damage. Again, we're not in an Annihilator, but a Raging Blow is going to deal more damage. And of course, in the Ravager, so we're going to throw a Whirling Weapon and inflicts AoE damage over enemies to enemies over 10 seconds. And then, of course, our last one here, Hurricane. So while Ravager is active, we're going to be getting move speed bonus as well as strength, which is going to help us hit incredibly hard. So the reason that we don't throw this and then sit on it and then pop our CDs is because of the slow ramp up. So we just want to throw it up at the start so that we get the initial bump when we then use our CDs. And while, our first few seconds of the CDs, this is going to ramp up to max and we're going to get the maximum benefit while our CDs are rolling. So that's why we don't sit on it when it is up. Okay, taking a look at our AoE rotation. So we're going to charge in with our Whirlwind macro. So hopefully when we charge in, it'll give us the buff. Then we're going to throw a Ravager out on top of the adds, do a Bloodthirst, pop Recklessness and Avatar at the same time. Avatar is off the GCD. That will cast a Odyn's Fury onto the mobs. Then we will have enough rage to Rampage. Then we're going to throw down our spear, stand in the spear, throw out 1 or 2 raging blows as long as the Odyn's buff is already on the adds. As soon as that falls off while standing in spear, we're going to then cast Odyn's Fury. Then we're going to go into our normal priority rotation, which is going to be Whirlwind to keep the buff up. Then we're going to Rampage if our enraged is absent. And then we're going to go Execute, followed by 2 crushing blows. We want to try to get 2 or 3 of those between Rampages, then Rampage, and then Bloodthirst if not raged, and then Whirlwind as filler. So this is what it looks like in action. Let me just clear my details here. Alright, so we're going to charge in Avatar. Or sorry, that was Ravager. There's our spear, stand in the spear. Rampage and keeping a Whirlwind buff up. Now we're doing a few crushing blows between each Rampage. So crushing blow, crushing blow, crushing blow. And the reason for that is that's going to empower our next Rampage and make it deal more damage. So we get about 3 between. And then of course if we got an Execute proc, we would throw that out here and that would replace one of the crushing blows. But otherwise it's like 3 crushing blows and then a Rampage. That's basically all there is to it. So there we go. You had an Execute proc. Now we're just back to throwing out crushing blows. And then there we had an Odyn's Fury. And this is all there is to it. So just crushing blow, keep a Whirlwind up, Rampage, crushing blow. Now we're into a little bit of a filler stage, which happens sometimes, especially when we're not getting Execute procs. Of course, these things don't really die, so we wouldn't be getting any procs onto trash as it would die. There's one. Just going to keep going here. Should have been a Whirlwind before a Rampage, but nothing's perfect. And there we go. So that was a full rotation there. We were at about 90k when we stopped there, just against the 5 targets. And I know that I made a couple mistakes. Of course, break combat, it says me down at 84, but that was 90k sustained against the 5 target cleave. Of course, then all our CDs were back up, so we would have been jumping up again. But that was just a minute and a half pull there, pulling 90k nice and easy. So for single target, it is pretty much the same. So we're going to charge in. I still have my Whirlwind macro listed. It's built into the same thing, so it's not really going to impact us. We're going to throw down Ravager, Bloodthirst, followed by Recklessness and Avatar, Rampage, Spear Bastion, Raging Blows into Odyn's Fury, and then our priority rotation or our sustain is going to be that we want to do Rampage if the buff was absent, Execute on procs, and then try to maintain 3 crushing blows, 2 to 3 between Rampages, Bloodthirst if we're not enraged, and then Whirlwind as filler. So what this looks like in action is much the same. So we're just going to charge in. And now, so that was our opener. So now we're just into Execute procs, Rampages, and then 3 crushing blows if possible. I'm actually curious what this will look at, so I think we're going to be over 30k. Oh, I just Whirlwind there, not realizing I would have got the rage. So, not much to really say here. We're just doing crushing blows into rampages and then executing. But I want to go through the full minute and a half here because that's our rotation window. Oh, there's our Odyn's Fury, so we get a little bit of Avatar time as well. More raging, crushing blows, execute, crushing, rampage. But now we're into a bit of a filler stage as things are on CD. Back at it. Okay, and rounding it all out. So we're just under 30k. In the Thunderous Roar build, we're between 25 and 30, but this is the low end. So obviously, when we get the additional party buffs, we're going to be over 30k there for sure. For stat priority, the way I am leaning to right now, and I will put it this disclaimer, I am not 100% sure, just based on my testing and the gear that I've been trying to get. I am moving slowly back towards a haste mastery build. So far, I've been seeing a little bit better numbers, but it's kind of hard to gauge that versus just getting the item level increases. But that's kind of where I'm going now. So if I get the choice between gear, like I'm kind of doing a bit of 50-50, so with my crit and haste, and then of course always want mastery. But I am starting to put a little bit more emphasis on the haste, and when I get a definitive idea about that, I will definitely throw it into the description or the comments as well. So this brings me to the end of the video. As always, we appreciate like, shares, and subscribe, so please click those buttons. Also, you can come find me on Twitch. I stream pretty much daily. Most of the time it is WoW. We do get into some Diablo and occasionally some other games, but mainly you will find us, excuse me, doing World of Warcraft. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. If you have a different build that you think is better, definitely let me know. I'd be happy to take a look. We're all in this together, trying to be the best Fury Warriors we can be. So that's it for me. Again, appreciate you guys and hope you are enjoying Dragonflight World of Warcraft.